Good afternoon and welcome to the launch of the Child Safeguarding Resource Document, Child Safeguarding Statement, Policy and Procedure Guidance for Early Learning and Care and School-Aged Childcare Services in Ireland. My name is Laura Dagger and I'm the coordinator of the National Child Safeguarding Programme. Just to let you all know that this launch is being recorded and it will be available on the National Child Safeguarding Programme website. So first of all, I'd like to just introduce our guests today. We are joined by Bernard Gloucester, CEO of TUSLA, and Laura Nee today, Children First Information and Advice Officer with TUSLA, who will both be speaking to us today at this launch. So first thing I want to do is to just give you a bit of background information on the document. So the resource document is a part of a suite of resources for early learning and care and school-aged childcare services in Ireland. This suite, I suppose, was started along with the Child Safeguarding Statement information sheet and template, which we released last year. And this was the first step towards supporting videos. Supporting services, supporting services to develop strong and robust child safeguarding statement policies and procedures. And the launch of this document is to ensure that services using that template now have an easy to follow and accurate source of information to develop, review or update their child safeguarding statement and associated procedures. So the COVID-19 pandemic has had a very real impact on early years services around the country, and at all times safeguarding children has been central to the supports that early years providers nationally were and still are offering to children and to their families. As a sector, we really fully stepped up and we continue where possible to be a big part of the lives of the children that we worked with on a daily basis. And this is just a testament to the professionalism and dedication of all workers in each and every service in Ireland. So today we have a message. We're going to start off with a message from the Minister for Children Equality, Disability Integration and Youth, Roderick O'Gorman. Minister O'Gorman couldn't join us today, so he has recorded a pre-recorded video for us. We've enjoyed a really excellent working relationship with both the department and with TUSLA on producing this document. So I'll pass you over now to our video from Minister O'Gorman.
I'd like to welcome you to the launch of the Child Safeguarding Resource Document, Child Safeguarding Statement, Policy and Procedures Guidance for Early Learning and Care and School-Aged Childcare Services in Ireland. The Child Safeguarding Resource Document is a valuable resource for early learning and childcare services and will support them to develop strong, robust child safeguarding statements and child safeguarding procedures in line with the Children First Act and the Children First National Guidance. The resource document also provides information on other support publications, such as the Quality and Regulatory Framework, to ensure that services offer children the very best quality service, while keeping them safe from harm and supporting their development and well-being. The launch of this resource document coincides with Children First Awareness Week, which is taking place from the 1st to the 7th of November. Children First promotes the protection of children from abuse and neglect by setting out what individuals and organisations need to do to keep children safe and how to deal with concerns about a child's welfare or safety. The Children First Act 2015, which has been fully commenced since December 2017 and provides for a number of key child protection measures, includes improving child protection arrangements in organisations, providing services to children and the introduction of mandatory reporting of child protection concerns by certain key professionals. Of central importance here are the obligations on providers of relevant services to keep children safe from harm while surveilling of their services, to carry out a risk assessment and to develop a child safeguarding statement setting out the policies and procedures in place to manage any risk identified. Mandated persons should also be aware of their obligations to report concerns above a certain threshold to TUSLA. There's been a huge amount of collaboration on this document between the National Child Safeguarding Programme, TUSLA's Children First Information and Advice Officers and TUSLA's inspection and registration teams. This is a testament to the commitment from both TUSLA and the Department to ensuring that early learning and childcare services in Ireland are safe and supportive environments for children and their families.
So thanks to Minister O'Gorman for that message. It's great to hear from the Minister, and it's great, I suppose, to see the commitment that's there from the Department to safeguard children in the early years services. And I suppose it's very, very good timing to launch this document during National Children First Awareness Week. So thanks to the Department and to the Minister for that, for that message. I'd like now to pass it over to Laura Nee. Laura Nee is a TUSLA Children First Information and Advice Officer, and Laura has been involved in the National Child Safeguarding Programme for the last number of years, and has been a huge resource to us in developing not only this resource but other resources and documents that we've published in the past. So Laura.
Okay. Thanks very much, Laura, and Laura's introduced me there, so thank you for that. And just to say, I'm delighted to be invited to say a short few words this afternoon at the launch of such a significant resource for the early learning and care and school-age childcare sector. I'm speaking very much on behalf of TUSLA's Children First Information and Advice Services and of colleagues in management who have supported our work on these projects over the years. Children First National Guidance for the Protection and Welfare of Children was originally launched in 1999, and the Children First Information and Advice Service has been in existence for more than 20 years. From the very start, the Children First Information and Advice Service has been engaged with the early learning and care sector and school-age childcare sector. These were some of the first organisations that we worked with, some of the first staff we trained in child safeguarding, and some of the first child safeguarding policies and procedures we supported and reviewed. From the smallest two-person services to the larger, multifaceted ones, this sector was there, eager to do the right thing and safeguard children in their care. Our team always felt that we were pushing an open door in our work with early learning and care and school-age childcare services. Many of these services were leading the way in child-centred practice, promoting the rights of children and ensuring that the welfare of children was the first and paramount consideration. The safeguarding strategy for the early learning and care and school-age childcare sector has evolved significantly over the years to what we now know as the National Child Safeguarding Programme, ELC. The programme has added structure, supports and resources, as well as comprehensive quality assured training to workers within the sector. The programme valued a multi-agency approach and harnessed the support and expertise from partner agencies across the wider sector through their participation on the National Child Safeguarding Committee. Ongoing partnerships with the City and County Childcare Committees continues to be fundamental in ensuring the quality child safeguarding information, training and support reaches the services working with the children and families. In this endeavour, the programme has chosen to continue to work very closely with TUSLA and to ensure that all of the messages and supports are consistent with the Children First Act and guidance. This is often a lengthy and tedious process, and in the development of this resource document, great care was always taken to ensure that the information and guidance was based on TUSLA support documentation. I'm sure Laura Jagger here will agree that this work has involved many, many hours and lots of sweat and tears. Again, this was testament to the National Safeguarding Programme and its efforts to get it right, and in doing so, producing a comprehensive and detailed resource which will continue to the creation and contribute to the creation and maintenance of safe environments for children across the sector. TUSLA's Children First Information and Advice Service enormously values the commitment, the proactive approach and drive by this sector to safeguard children. Workers in early learning and care and school-age childcare services care and interact with babies, toddlers and young children who are most vulnerable due to their age and dependency on the care of the adults around them. For the children attending these services, it may be their first venture out into the world, and it's very important that these experiences are positive and caring, and that their welfare is of paramount importance. Early learning and care and school-age childcare services provide essential supports to families, and parents need to be assured that their children are well cared for and protected from harm. In some situations, it may be the first opportunity for an adult, external to the family, to interact with a child on a regular basis, and perhaps recognise if something is not as it should be. An adult who is trained and supported within the service and assisted by clear and detailed procedures that will guide them on what to do if they're worried about that child. This resource document being launched today, accompanied by TUSLA's Always Children First Foundation training programme, is designed to ensure that good child safeguarding practice is embedded within services and that children are kept safe from harm while attending a service. It's also designed to develop and enhance worker skills and knowledge of how to respond when they're concerned about a child. Services can use this resource document to develop and/or review their child safeguarding statements and child safeguarding procedures. This in turn will ensure that workers have all the necessary information and guidance to safeguard the children in their care. It's very timely. It's been mentioned already, of course, that this document is being launched on the first National Children First Awareness Week. Early learning and care and school-age childcare services across the country will discover a comprehensive range of supports and resources to support them in their efforts to safeguard children and comply with national legislation and policy. I'd hope that here today we're also raising awareness of the excellent work that's taken place in the early learning care and school-age childcare sector over the years and take a moment to acknowledge it. This sector has been a beacon of light, leading the way for other organisations and sectors on the importance of child safeguarding. So I'd like to end on a very big thank you to all involved, because it has been a total pleasure always to be involved in this particular programme and all of the work over the years, and all of the people that we work with. Dedication, commitment and all of that is just really, really important and very much valued. So to the National Child Safeguarding Committee, its chairs and members and all the partner agencies, thank you to those. To all of the Children First Foundation programme trainers from the City and County Childcare Committees, who are very key and always demonstrate an abundance of dedication, energy and a commitment to deliver the very best training to their participants. To the services themselves, the workers and management who attend the training, develop the statements and procedures and care for the children. To our colleagues in the Children First Information and Advice Service, our management and to the agency. And finally, the National Coordinator, Laura, here today for all of that very hard work, dedication, patience, as always, positivity and a great sense of humour, always very important. Congrats to all involved here today. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that, Laura. I will certainly attest to the sweat and tears that went into the document and the back and forth. But I know we both agree that that's the reason that we're so pleased with the document that we've produced, to the amount of work that we put into it. And I'd also just like to take the time to reiterate Laura's point around the commitment of the trainers on the programme for the last 8 years now, from the City and County Childcare Committees, from Childmind in Ireland and from CNNG. Just a great big thank you to them for their work over the years on that. So thanks very much to you, Laura. I'd like now to welcome TUSLA Chief Executive Officer Bernard Gloucester. So TUSLA have been involved in the National Child Safeguarding Programme since the start, all the way back in 2013, and during that time have been an invaluable partner to us, ensuring that we can develop and deliver training and resources that support and help early years services, everyone in the early years sector, to meet their obligations under the Children First Act, while working in a very strong child-centred way. So Bernard, I'll hand over to you now. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Laura, and indeed to my colleague Laura Nee, who spoke before you and spoke so well about the work that has been done, and the pinnacle of that work being today. And indeed, it doesn't stop today. Of course, it goes on and will continue, because that's really in the area of any type of personal social service, it is important that we stay focused on continuous improvement, and it's that ensures that when we produce documents and policies and guidance, that they become living things within the services where people experience children, as distinct from just the document itself. So it is wonderful to be here today, and thanks so much for the invite to the National Child Safeguarding Programme for Early Learning and Care. Some might say, isn't it a dreadful thing that we need such an entity? In fact, it's a wonderful thing to have such an entity, because it shows how far advanced and attuned we are becoming as a society to the need for an understanding and an appreciation that we must all be challenged by the construct of safeguarding, just as we are challenged and desire to provide service and to do all of the things that we aspire to do in the services we work in. When I came to TUSLA a little over 2 years ago, the early years sector as a totality was indeed the subject of significant scrutiny, and indeed some might say rightly so, and indeed I would agree rightly so. However, that perhaps denied the significant amount of good work and progress that is in this sector, and in this sector every day of the week. And I've always been convinced that there is insurmountable evidence to show that this sector nationwide, which is progressive, which is continuously improving, and which is open and which is transparent and wanting to find ways. And of course, every sector will have problems and problem parts and indeed problem services within them, but that doesn't define the totality of the sector. And this is a sector that has embraced so much by way of professional standards, by way of regulation, by way of legislation, by way of development over the years. It's a very difficult thing to do. And perhaps it's an opportune time still in 2021 as we live against the backdrop of the prevalence of COVID-19 to recognise just how important this sector was and the role it played as it commenced reopening at the end of the summer of 2020, and in fact was one of the most successful sectors in doing so. Again, showing the quality and the standards of the people in it. To come to the context then of children first, the context of safeguarding children. What's the most important thing perhaps that I can say to you today? Well, what is being launched today, the culmination of this work, is relevant to TUSLA in so many different ways. TUSLA is the regulator of the early years sector, and of course we have a direct interest in that. And Fiona McDonnell and her team have a huge interest in the sector and seeing it improve through the application of regulation. That team also have responsibility for the monitoring of child safeguarding statements. But I think all of us know that child safeguarding statements are of themselves only statements unless the content is very visible in a real way. And so the other parts of TUSLA are extremely interested in and responsible for what's happening today. We are the state agency responsible for child protection and for where child protection matters arise, for having them reported to us and for dealing with those. We're also the state agency in law responsible for family support. And what greater family support can be given to a family than the level of assurance that they can have about the services into which they entrust the care of their children as they go about education or school or otherwise. I often talk about TUSLA in the context of public confidence and the need for a much wider lens and narrative about the important issues that we deal with on behalf of people. But public confidence, one of the greatest demonstrations of public confidence is in what you do today and in what the sector does every day. Because by giving open assurance to parents, by giving parents a space to question, to ask, to read, to understand, to see and to feel when they meet their children at the end of a day in whatever minding context they might have been in, that they know and believe and hear the assurances that the decisions they've made about the care of their child are decisions about the child and about the child's well-being, about the child's development, about the child's happiness, and about all of the things that are so good about childhood, but also about the absolute maximum assurance about safeguarding and prevention of harm and protecting children from harm. And so what has happened over the last number of years, and since this office, the National Child Safeguarding Programme came into being several years ago, what's important is that now we've arrived at another stage with really solid guidance backed up with really good practical information, with training, with support. One of the things when Children First, long before it became law, when Children First became an iteration of policy, one of the hugely important things I believe the state did through the then health board system was the development of the information and advice officer system. And while I was out of touch with that for many years, I was so delighted when I came back to TUSLA and saw not only was it still in existence, but it had grown from strength to strength. And it is, when you look at the type of work that people like Laura Nee and John Parent do, and you look at how that is put forward today, that's where there's real partnership. That's where there's real partnership by everybody in the interests of services being the best they can be. For what reason? Well, for the reason that they're the best they can be for the children and the families that use them. That ultimately is the end game. And that's what we have to stay focused on. And that's why I'm so delighted that TUSLA played a supportive and facilitative role in this, as distinct from perhaps that very strict space of just simply dictating what has to be done, but that actually we play a constructive role in helping the sector to achieve higher levels of demonstration of good safeguarding practice, apart from the regulation, apart from the law, apart from Children First, apart from the documents, all of which are very important. And we're reminded of that this week in the first ever Children First Awareness Week. Apart from all of that, perhaps the most important thing I wanted to say to you today, to share with you today, to encourage you today, and to ask of you today, is to take what you have done and continue to build on that, because what you have done is you have created, and well gone beyond beginning to create, what I call a culture of safeguarding. A culture of, when we use words child-centred, I don't know how many times in my career I've heard the phrase child-centred, patient-centred, service user-centred in all of the parts of the health service I've worked in. And every time I draw a breath and pause and say, what does that actually mean? How do we actually demonstrate what that actually means? Well, you are demonstrating that. And that really means that you're creating a culture. You're creating a culture of childhood that includes a culture of safeguarding, that isn't afraid to confront the reality of the need for safeguarding, but that it's not just a procedure, it's not just a policy, it's very much a living part of what you and your staff and the people working in the sector do. And our job simply is to support you and to continue to challenge you to do that, and to keep doing it, and to keep doing it as well as you can, and doing it better, and adding to your skill set and adding to your knowledge. So well done to everybody who has led to these important resources being made available and being published and being put up there for scrutiny. It's really important that we do that. I have no doubt I could never adequately reflect what I'm sure is the enormity of the work that individual people went to in doing that. But what I would say to the sector, one and all, is this. Don't see this as something apart from your job. See this as a part of your job. Because that's what it is. It is a part of who you are and what you are, that you are experts in, and that you demonstrate competence in safeguarding. Ultimately, that makes for better childcare, makes for better confidence of parents, and is of a benefit to society that's long-lasting beyond the years within which any individual child is in your service. The best of luck to you. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Bernard. It's great to have you here, to have your comment on the programme and the work that has gone on in the earlier sector over the last 8-9 years. And just to note that real partnership between ourselves and between TUSLA and between the department to keep children safe and to create that culture of safeguarding is a message that we all should definitely keep in mind. So again, I just want to say thanks to both Laura and to Bernard and to Minister O'Gorman for his video message to us today. Before we wrap up, I'd just again like to extend my thanks to everyone who is involved in the development of this document, and in particular to the members of the National Child Safeguarding Committee. The committee has been chaired by Catherine O'Riordan since its inception in 2013, and we're very unfortunate in that Catherine is moving on. So I just want to extend a really warm thanks and really acknowledge the work that Catherine has done, and she'll be a great loss to the committee, and hopefully we'll continue to work with her. The committee is made up of members from Bernardo's, from Childcare Committees Ireland, Childmind in Ireland, CNNG, Dublin City Childcare Committee, Early Childhood Ireland, and then TUSLA Children First Information and Advice Officers and the TUSLA Inspection and Registration Team. And again, we wouldn't be here, and we certainly wouldn't be producing the documents and supports and training that we are producing without the support of the committee. And finally then, just thanks again to you all for giving up your time to be here today. The Child Safeguarding Resource document is now available on our website, which is www.childsafeguardingelc.ie, and our trainer organisations, CCC, CNNG, Childmind in Ireland, will share the link in the coming days too. We are in the process of having the document translated into Irish, so that will be available in the coming days, and we will send an update. If anyone has any questions about the document or would like to discuss it any further, they can feel free to contact us at info@childsafeguardingelc.ie, and maybe just as well to keep an eye on our Twitter page, that we would have an awful lot of resources available there too. So thanks again for taking the time out to attend the launch, very much appreciated, and I look forward to continuing to working with you all in the future. Thank you.